Hundreds of thousands of players. A launch that went, honestly, absolutely nuclear. It looked like the next legendary horror title had just dropped. And then, boom, it just vanished. Welcome to this explainer on the crazy mystery of the Night Blackout. Today, we're diving into a 3-week maintenance period that is literally everyone talking. We've got rumors of secret NDAs, explosive community drama, and the massive question hanging over it all. Is this game about to become official, or is it gone for good? It is a fascinating, seriously suspenseful story, so let's jump right into the evidence.
Now, just to set the stage on why there's so much hype, let's quickly look at what this game actually is. By Night is an asymmetrical survival horror game right there on Roblox. You know the drill, right? It's that classic formula. You've got a team of survivors frantically running around trying to complete tasks, like fixing generators, while one single, terrifying, totally overpowered killer hunts them down. The survivors have classes, like a medic to heal or a security guard with a taser. And the killers? Oh man, they have wild abilities too, like the doppelganger, who can literally shapeshift into the survivors. It's a proven, super addictive gameplay loop, and the community was just starved for a polished version of it set in a familiar animatronic horror universe.
And to give you an idea of just how starved they were, check this out. 300,000. That is the staggering number of concurrent players By Night hit on day one. To put that into perspective, that is a mind-bending figure for an indie launch on Roblox. It instantly cemented itself as the biggest horror event of the year on the platform, hands down. It was a runaway success that had the entire gaming community buzzing. But, that level of success brings an intense spotlight, and well, that spotlight revealed some massive cracks almost immediately.
Which brings us to the core mystery of our explainer today. Right at the absolute peak of its popularity, out of nowhere, the game was just yanked from the Roblox catalog. The devs slapped a maintenance mode label on it. Now at first, players were like, okay, standard bug fixing, maybe some back-end glitches or server stability issues. But then days turned into a week turned into 3 weeks. The Discord went dead silent. You couldn't even search for the game anymore. Total blackout. So what actually took the game offline? Let's check out our first major suspect.
Suspect number 1, the monetization precedent.
To really understand this first theory, we gotta talk about money. By Night was, obviously, heavily inspired by the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. But for a decade, traditional fangame creators have strictly followed an unspoken set of rules to avoid legal trouble. Rule 1, you work for free. You do not profit off someone else's IP, period. If you actually want to be official, you go to step 2. You pitch directly to the franchise creator, Scott Cawthon. And step 3, you pray you get approved for his official Fanverse initiative. It's this grueling, multi-year grind of blood, sweat, and stress, and usually, it's funded entirely out of the dev's own pockets.
But look at the crazy contrast here. On one hand, traditional fan games mean zero revenue and super strict rules. On the other hand, By Night completely bypassed all of that. They launched on Roblox with a fully active Robux store, live service updates, and premium payouts based on player engagement. And here's the kicker. Because of how Roblox is structured, even if they didn't sell items directly, just having premium players in the game generates passive income. They were allegedly raking in thousands of dollars a day, right from day one.
And this is where things reached a boiling point in the community. Veteran developer Jessalium actually posted on Reddit saying, letting this slide is a slap in the face to the entire fangame community. And honestly, it's a really potent argument. Think about it. If a dev can just bypass all the legal red tape, launch a monetized game using someone else's IP, make an absolute killing, and face zero immediate consequences, then what are the rules even for? It set a precedent that absolutely terrified veteran creators who felt it was just rewarding rule breaking. So is this massive outrage enough to force the game into a blackout? Maybe. But let's look at the next piece of the puzzle.
Suspect number 2, the anti-camo ban. So while the devs were facing this huge monetization backlash outside the game, inside the servers, a massive moderation controversy was brewing. The maps in By Night are incredibly dark, really atmospheric. And since players can use their own custom Roblox avatars, people quickly realized they could equip pitch-black avatars to literally disappear into the shadows. The killer couldn't see them at all. It was a massive camouflage exploit. To shut this cheating down, the devs panicked and implemented a strict blanket ban on all pitch-black avatars. But this immediate rule change sparked intense backlash, with players and onlookers accusing the developers of racism.
The reality inside the game was an absolute disaster. Players were caught right in the crossfire. One player even noted, "The amount of times I was called racist for scolding a pitch-black user." It was pure chaos. Players were basically deputized to report each other, leading to intense, toxic arguments in the server chats. The moderation ticket system completely maxed out with false reports and furious players. The developers were essentially trying to slap a Band-Aid on a map lighting issue by banning a specific avatar type. And man, did it blow up in their faces spectacularly.
And the PR nightmare didn't stop there. It just kept compounding. People started pointing out that the survivor classes felt stereotyped, like the medic role being locked to the sole female character model, and the fighter role locked to a black male character. On top of all that, unverified screenshots from Discord started circulating, alleging the game's owner had made homophobic comments. And if that wasn't enough drama for you, the developers declined to participate in a charity stream event, which allegedly pushed a frustrated content creator to dig up years-old controversial badges from the devs' past just to expose them. It was a total avalanche of drama, toxicity, and pressure. Surely a community meltdown of this magnitude could force a game offline, right? Well, hold on, because there's one more suspect.
Suspect 3. The Coffin Connection.
This brings us right back to the intellectual property itself. Just look at this timeline. The game launches to over 250,000 players on day 1. You literally cannot hide numbers like that. Later, that exact same day, Scott Cawthon, the actual creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, officially takes notice of the game. By day 2, the Byte by Night developers are scrambling, frantically changing character names left and right. And then, just over a week later, the game completely vanishes into maintenance mode. The sheer speed of these events paints a very, very specific picture.
The crucial thing to notice here is how the devs reacted the second they knew Scott was watching. They went into absolute full-blown damage control to dodge a copyright strike. Famous characters were instantly renamed. The iconic Springtrap was hastily swapped out for The Rotten. I mean, come on. It was a glaring sign that the developers knew they were swimming in legally perilous waters and were desperately trying to scrub the most obvious IP infringements before the hammer dropped.
But here is the ultimate twist in our explainer today. That hammer? It never dropped. There was no massive lawsuit, no public cease and desist order. Instead, according to multiple sources in the community, Scott Cawthon allegedly opened a direct dialogue with the developers. This sparked a wildfire of rumors across Reddit and Discord about a secret NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So is the game in a 3-week maintenance mode because they're being forced to strip out every single copyrighted asset and relaunch as an original IP? Or is it actually possible that Scott Cawthon was so impressed by the gameplay that he's working with them behind the scenes to make Byte by Night an officially licensed Roblox game?
And that brings us to the absolute edge of our seats. We are looking at a game that achieved unprecedented success, immediately fell into severe community controversies over monetization and moderation, and is now locked in a shadowy negotiation with one of the biggest creators in horror gaming. So, I leave you with this to think about. When this blackout finally lifts, is Byte by Night the future of Roblox horror or its biggest cautionary tale? Keep your eyes locked on the catalog because the second this maintenance ends, the internet is going to explode all over again.